Good morning, family. This is Cassandra, also known as Yapo Moyende Ngina, also known as the Rogue Black Girl. And I went on one for some time last night. I think I was on here for like 2.5 hours last night. But I said that I would be doing lives every day, just every day, just every day, because the time is calling for it. Now, let me just tell you, um, I Um, I am divinely moved. So before I even got pulled myself together today, Spirit was on the move, baby. Okay. And Spirit was like, all right, don't leave your house. Don't do nothing until you share this epiphany that I have for you today. So I started because my daughter and I were talking. Okay, for some reason, I cannot be heard. Hold on. Let me see what's going on with my mic. Let's see here. Can you hear me now? Rasan, the poet? Let's see. Well, that's not going to help on my phone. I don't know why I wouldn't be able to be heard from here. It might just be IG. Hello, hello, hello. I see it's not doing nothing. All right, let's see here. Um, I do not know why my phone mic is not working. Oh, you know what? Let me try one more thing. How about now? Okay. All right. Well, I'll just keep recording. Okay. So anyway, I got up this morning. For those, if you cannot hear me on IG, just go to my Facebook page, which is Iapo Moyende Ngina, or Iapo Iyapo Ngina. Somebody is saying that they're having a problem hearing me. But anyway, I want to go ahead and get into this. If you can't hear me there, just go ahead and go to my YouTube channel. Okay, so I got up this morning. I was talking to my daughter. She showed me some video about this thing happening with the U.S., the Ukraine, and Russia, right? And it was, I don't know who the guy was. She sent me the link. I can post it below. But basically, he was just saying that in the midst of this orchestrated crisis, that those of us who've been the victims of empire should not take either side, any side of the contradictions and the conflicts of empire, right? Of imperial masters, of imperial slave owners. That's what this is. You know, his position was that we need to be deepening the crisis, not taking sides in imperial crisis. That we need to be, deepening the crisis wherever we are, right? And I co-sign on that. Been saying that from day one. But this is the big but, is that he was talking from a perspective that is not new. He was talking from a perspective of kind of like a socialist type of view. And so when I had this conversation with my daughter, because I co-signed on everything he said, but socialist revolution ain't the answer neither, baby. Sorry. That ship has sailed. It is not the answer. Been there, done that. Now, I could go into a whole history lesson of the many, many ways that my birds are like straight freaking out. Let me close this door really quick. Okay, so I could go into a history lesson about the many ways that socialist revolution and socialist ideology has failed us. Ain't nobody wanting to have that conversation because it's cool to be a socialist. I dig it. You understand? The idea is great. The science of revolution is awesome, right? Yeah. Well, Look at every place on the damn planet that has made a socialist revolution. That has, from the late 1800s and early 1900s on, using a socialist philosophy, socialist strategy to make revolutionary struggles, independent struggles. Where are they now? What are the condition of those places now? What do their countries look like now? What are the conditions of the women and children in these countries now? So at some juncture, we're going to have this conversation about reassessing calling ourselves a socialist. And I did for a long time. I got the red star on my fucking face, for God's sakes. You understand? So I get it. Right? But my intention, and it still may be what I lead with, as a matter of fact, was to revisit a chapter from my favorite book, The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth. There's a whole chapter in this book called Marx and the Matriarchy. And I may or may not actually, it's a short chapter, but I got sidetracked. And my intention of reading this to, one, challenge you to do not fall into these same old tired narratives, spiritual capitalism versus soulless socialism. You understand? This is not the way forward for us. Those of us who've been the victims of empire, those of us who have been the sufferers, men, women, and children who have been the sufferers of patriarchal madness, have no business hedging our bets with any of these people. Let them destroy themselves. But see, look, this is a strategy. This is what I've been talking to y'all about for the last 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Is I knew, and we all knew, if we knew what we were looking at, that there was going to be some political strategy that was going to attempt to win us through fear and uncertainty, to dive into those emotions. Here we are, collectively traumatized by 2 years of COVID. And on the day that Pluto returns to America to judge America, America becomes the benevolent hero set to save the Ukraine. Come on, y'all. Because America is attempting to escape judgment of its victims. The victims of America have to collectively come together to judge America. While at the same time materializing through prayer and dance and lovemaking and joy and bliss what the new world can look like. What the new world can look like. What a liberated world has to become. But America can't escape this shit, baby. And there is no evolution for America. There ain't. Because even in the midst of Pluto having made its return, began its return on the 20th of this month, even as she has reclaimed her throne after 246 years, just 5 days ago, this was the response, was to get the entire planet on board with this play that is being executed in real time to feed off of the emotions of fear and uncertainty and desperation of the many, because it is our emotions, whether negative or positive. It is the power and the energy of our emotions that feeds this lunatic. It's where we give our power to, you see. And so we cannot be caught up in this madness. Now, I may, at some juncture, what I might do is just have you go back into my YouTube page, because I've already read the chapter on here live, and it's in my videos, called Marx and the Matriarchy, because I don't want to do a whole lesson on the failure of socialist ideology. Socialist ideology is the other side of the coin. Capitalism and socialism are two sides to the same coin. And this shit that's unfolding in the Ukraine with Russia and the United States is a show. It's a sleight of hand to get you off your power. Pluto has arrived in America to judge not only America, baby. America ain't the only people being judged by Pluto in this period. Europe is being judged. Rome is being judged. You understand? Oh, you won't understand. But I'm trying to tell you, Rome is being judged. Europe is being judged. And America, who is their bastard child, is being judged. And people of color, colonized people, oppressed people, people who have been the victims of patriarchy first, imperialism, white power, white supremacy, are the offspring, are the motherless offspring of patriarchy, baby. Not the other way around. Not the other way around. And so what we are witnessing is this layered but beautiful orchestration of the heavens to resolve this shit once and for all. But what the heavens need, as above, so below, what the heavens need from us is reciprocity, is reciprocal enthusiasm, reciprocal ecstasy, enthusiasm, joy, bliss, certainty that as the heavens is indicative of the existence of God, so is those of us on the planet. We are indicative of God. And this is a dance that we have to do with heaven in order to undo this madness, baby. Because at the end of the day, God, whatever you see God as, or Yah in this moment is God, boo. God is not, listen, oh my God, listen. God is not something over there that in its mystical self will come down to earth and do work for us. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. How that works is that God, the heavens, the ethos, puts all the proper alignments in place to channel energy at the same time, thinning a veil that allows its physical manifestation to channel that energy in the flesh to be able to exact that change in the material world. Now, if you want me to make that plainer, more plain, in the Bible, in the Old Testament, when miracles was happening left and right, apparently, miracles was the order of the day. There is not a single solitary miracle mentioned in the entirety of the Old Testament that was performed by God itself. Not one. Not one. There ain't a single scripture that talks about God, quote, coming out the sky, you understand, from its home on high, you understand, to do the bidding of humans in their lowly selves. That is not what happened. Every single solitary miracle purported to be performed in the Bible was conducted through flesh in the form of prophets, not only in the form of flesh, in the form of matter, because flesh was the conduit for spirit, the executioner of miracles in the material realm. And typically, God would say, look, I'm going to need you to pick up this stick right here. Because with this stick right here, you're going to do wonders in my name. You understand? Or with this cloak right here, you are going to do wonders in my name. And this is going to be the proof that God is real. God needs flesh to make matter move. So the question is are we going to be the facilitators of miracles? Because that's what flesh is about. That's what our existence is about. That's what our destiny is about the execution of miracles. I tell my daughter all the time, all the time. Miracles ain't some ambiguous shit that just fall the fuck out the sky. If you find a $20 bill on the road, flesh was the executor of that miracle. Now, it may have come at somebody else's expense, or it may not have even caused them any harm. They dropped that $20 bill. That's the miracle, because you needed the $20 bill. And right on time, all the webs lined up. And at that moment that the web crossed, your need corresponded with someone else's dropping of that $20 bill. And there you go, a miracle. We call it a miracle, right? It's the matrix. It is this web of interconnectedness that we call the matrix, or we call a miracle, right? We call this a miracle because we are not tuned in. We're not plugged in. So it seems like random and just a coincidence that this thing happened exactly when I needed it. I'm like, nah, baby. Miracles are performed by flesh. And typically we may be able to use some material conduit to execute or amplify that miracle. But miracles are performed by flesh. And why? Because flesh is God, just like spirit is God. Anyway, so I don't want to get into a lecture on Marx and the matriarchy today, though that is a fire ass chapter in this wonderful book called The Great Cosmic Mother, Rediscovering the Religion of the Earth by Monica Zhu and Barbara Moore. You can get them, you can download the book online for free, or you can order the book. I got my book. I think I got my copy for like $5 used. So, but you need to get it. Get right with your life. Now, when I was studying this morning to get here to talk to you all, you understand, there are these interventions that continue to happen. And so I also got up reading another book that I wanted to share with you guys. And then these interventions just fill out the damn book. I haven't picked the book up in almost a year and a half. This is the Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets by Barbara Walker. The Women's Encyclopedia of Myths and Secrets. So my intention was to read the chapter on Marx and the matriarchy to you, and then plug this book because it's great. Right. And so the first word that I'd opened to in this book was the word bitch. So this book, as it claims, is a and I just there it is, is an encyclopedia of all the origins of many words and many ideas, spiritual and religious ideas that we've come to know but don't know the origin of, right? So the word bitch was the first thing that I opened up to today. I just popped the book open, and that's how I've read the book the whole time. It's just like, let spirit guide what the hell's going to open up. So the word bitch, this became a naughty word in Christian Europe because it was one of the most sacred titles to the goddess Artemis Diana, leader of the Scythian Alani, or the hunting dogs. I hope y'all feel where I'm coming from. The bitch goddess of antiquity was known in all Indo-European cultures, beginning with the great bitch Sarama, who led the Vedic dogs of death. The Old English word for a hunting dog was bod. Also, the English word for a hunting dog, bog, also became a naughty word because it applied to the divine huntresses, promiscuous priestesses, as well as her dogs. Harlots and bitches were identified in the ancient Roman cult of the goddess Lupa, the wolf bitch, whose priestesses, the Lupe, gave their names to prostitutes in general. Earthly representatives of the wolf bitch ruled the Roman town of Era Flavia in Spain as a queen or series of queens named Lupa. In Christian terms, son of a bitch was considered insulting because it meant a dog. Let's see. In Christian terms, son of a bitch was considered insulting not because it meant a dog, but because it meant a devil. That is a spiritual son of a pagan goddess. Now, let me just tell you, okay? That was the first word I opened to today, and it blew my mind. I'd read it before, but now something is different. And so the word bitch that we are all so horribly offended by was not a bad word, not a term, of offense. It was a recognition of the goddess, right? So I'm looking back at our cultural mythologies and how this shit has been spun in our brains. Because I think I read last night out of the Great Cosmic Mother, out of the chapter called The Machine, talking about the machine, which we, whether we know it or not, is the great triangle of mystery of our rulers, the church, the corporatocracy, and the military government. Now, mind you, this book was written in 1987. Okay. So we read as she identified this 3-pointed triangle of mystery, or the mystery of our rulers, as the ultimate vampire system, right? So I'm reading this today about bitches and how these priestesses of the wolf bitch goddess were called the Lupa, and the queens that ran those territories were called the Lupe. Now, I don't know if that's familiar to you guys, but Lupa or Lupe or Lupin is always referred to werewolves in horror movies. Always the werewolf, right? With this power to transform man into wolf, right? And in like the underworld, the vampires are the wealthy, benevolent, upper class, right? They are the sexy, they're well dressed, they're awesome. And the Lupe or the werewolves are their slaves, whose only purpose is to protect them in the day when they must sleep. That's their only purpose. Oh, and to create wealth for them, right? And so to know that the origin of werewolf stories is a condemnation of the goddess image. So werewolf, even if we don't know it, is synonymous with slavery and women. And they're always notoriously the bad guy, unsexy, unattractive. We don't ever root for the werewolf. We always root for the vampire. The vampire is the ultimate mysterious sex symbol of Western culture, right? We constantly root for the bad guys, and the bad guys are always dressed up as the good guys. Anyway, that was the epiphany I had today, among many. So when I got there, I went to, there was a story about the goddess, the Chinese moon goddess, Shango. The Chinese moon goddess, Shango. Chinese moon goddess, soul keeper of the ambrosia of immortality. The ambrosia of immortality is the menstrual blood or the moon blood. Her husband, the excellent archer, who is the excellent archer? The Sagittarius. This is an astrological story, as is every story of every god and every goddess in history. Her husband, the excellent archer, became intensely jealous of her monopoly of life magic and quarreled with her. So she left him, as Lilith left Adam, and went to live on the moon forever, dispensing her precious elixir of life to women only. I am reminded of a story that sounds really familiar in the Ifa tradition about Oshun leaving the world of men to go live on the moon because they offended her so, right? I was like, oh my God. And so I was looking at that. It had some little references at the bottom. Where them references went? Y'all walk with me. I'm going somewhere. Oh, so it took me, okay. Yeah, maybe I'll leave that one. Okay. The curse of the mother's tongue, I won't get into because that's really long, but this is fascinating. Chernobog, like Chernobog, means black god of the Slavs, Slavs. This is what I read while initially trying to study the Marx and the matriarchy to get y'all mind off this bullshit happening in the Ukraine that is a play, an epic play of grand proportion to steal your power. You hear? This is how spirit intervenes. But if you aren't open to listening, if you aren't open to hearing, you'll think it's just a grand unfolding of coincidences, and there are none. So in my little study today and my diversion from Marx and the matriarchy and trying to give y'all a political education today on the failure of socialism, I go to this book and read this word called Chernobog, which means black god of the Slavs, Slavs, the adversary of the white god, Biblagog, another version of Ahriman, opposed to Ahura Mazda, or the black sun beneath the earth, opposed to the white sun in heaven, honey. Oh my God. Like other versions of the Chthonian deity, Chernobog was a lord of death, often invoked for curses. The Ukrainians still say, "May the black god exterminate you." The Ukrainians still say, "May the black god exterminate you." Woo! In the same manner, ancient Persians invoked Ahriman, Chaldeans invoked Arciel, Romans invoked Saturn, and Christians invoked the devil. These are all supposed to be synonymous with the black god, by the way. Now, I'm reading today, based on the conversation I had with my daughter about the Ukraine. I'm going to talk to y'all about the failure of socialism, and this is what I find. Chernobog, the lord of the underworld. Pluto just made her transition in Capricorn, which is Saturn, on Sunday. This past Sunday. That's what happened. This past Sunday. Pluto, the lord of the underworld, Hades, Oya, she who guards the gates of the cemetery. I read today, intending to do a political education, that this is the black god, right? The Ukrainians say at the time that America is experiencing its first Pluto returns and about to have his whole ass handed to it for crimes against Africans, for crimes against Indians, for crimes against Native Americans, for crimes against Mexicans, for crimes against the whole goddamn colored world. This black god that we know as Pluto or Yah, Hades, is about to rain holy hell on America. And even the Ukrainians still say, "May the black god exterminate you." And y'all act like this shit is a coincidence. This book was written in 1983. This book was written in 1983 that I'm reading to you from. You see. Oh, but it's a coincidence. I'm just saying. Right? So then from there, I really want to read to you about the mother's curse, but it's just way too long for today. But there was a reference in there to Tiamat, which is the Babylonian Doomsday, and to the term Doomsday itself. Since everybody talking about Doomsday, everybody talking about World War III right now in real time. Everybody talking about Doomsday, World War III, all that bullshit, right? And so I get led today to the word Doomsday and its origin. Its ancient origin. Come on, walk with me, y'all, because y'all about to get gut punched like I was this morning. Doomsday, the universal idea of the world's end, was rooted in ancient Hindu belief in the cyclic alternation of universes brought about by Kaala. Each Kali, her name is the Black One. Her name means the Black One. Each successive creation was divided into 4 yugas or ages: Satya, Treta, Dvapara, and Kali. The fourth and last, Kali being the fourth and last, marking the age when Mother turns destroyer, because the race of men become violent and sinful, failing to perceive deity in the feminine principle. Y'all have not heard the word of God on this day. Kali, the Black One, the fourth and last, marking the fourth and last yuga, marking the fourth and last, marking the age when the Mother turns destroyer. That is Oya that I've been talking to y'all about for 7 weeks. That's Pluto, who just came on the scene Sunday. Pluto, who is the god of destruction and radical transformation, rebirth that can only come by the destruction of all that is old and decadent and decaying and cannot serve the future of evolution. This is Kali. And Kali, though she has very Pluto-like, very Oya-like characteristics, owns and rules, is considered the mother of Saturn. Where did Pluto just join on Sunday? Capricorn. Who is Capricorn's planet? Saturn. But this is coincidence to y'all, right? So the fourth and last age where Mother turns destroyer, because the race of men have become violent and sinful, failing to perceive deity in the feminine principle. Quote, due to the limited intelligence and lust of men in the Kali Yuga, they will be unable to recognize women as manifestations of the Shakti. End quote. Oh, y'all did not hear. I got goosebumps everywhere. Y'all have not heard the Spirit of God move through here on this day. The Shakti is the origin of all creation. It is the origin of all creation. It says here, due to the limited intelligence and lust of men in the Kali Yuga, they will be unable to recognize women as manifestations of fucking God. Only a few may escape spiritual degeneration. Those, listen to what I'm telling you. I've been telling you for months now. Only a few may, and she's talking about men. Only a few men may escape spiritual degeneration. Those who are devoted to the lotus of their mother's feet and to their own wives. Y'all ain't hearing the scripture on this day. The only ones of you who will be spared destruction are those who are devoted to the lotus of the lotus of their mother's feet and to their own wives. I said last week, all this madness in the world, all this confusion about what to do, a good starting point is to acknowledge that your mama is God. That's a good place to start. Even if you didn't know her, even if you never met her, even if you don't know her name, the spirit of her, the one that said to you, yes, you can live because I said so. You can be because I said so. Say her name. I thank God, known as Jacqueline Jeanette Futch, for saying yes to my life when she could have said no, for allowing herself to be a conduit for me to fulfill my own personal destiny in this life. That's a good place to start. Thank God my mama said yeah. Here it is right here. All coincidental like in my study about some goddamn socialism and shit. Baby, the only men who will be spared the end and escape spiritual degeneration are those who are devoted to the lotus of their mother's feet and to their own wives. When Kali's doomsday arrives, the gods will slay each other. The gods will slay each other because it is the Black One. It is Kali. It is the mother. It is the body of the universe that gives birth to gods, not just people, to gods. If you in Ifa tradition, then you know what I'm talking about. You know I'm telling the truth. It is the she that gives birth to all things, including the gods. When Kali's doomsday arrives, the gods will slay each other. Earth would be overwhelmed by fire and flood. The goddess would swallow up everything and unmake it, returning to her primordial state of formless chaos, as she was before creation. All beings would enter her, and because all beings would enter her because she devours all existence. After a time that could not be counted because even time was destroyed, Kali would give birth to a new universe. The Matsya Purana said signs of approaching doomsday were to be found in the breakdown of social structures, the increase in violence and crime, and the decline of human intelligence. Okay? Quote, there is no one anymore in whom enlightening goodness prevails. No real wise man, no saint, no one uttering truth and standing by his sacred word, meaning y'all are liars, perpetual liars. The seemingly holy Brahmin is no better than a fool. Old people, destitute of the true wisdom of old age, try to behave like the young, and the young lack the candor of youth. The social classes have lost their distinguishing, dignifying virtues. The will to rise to supreme heights has failed. The bonds of sympathy and love have dissolved. Narrow egotism rules. When this calamity has befallen the once harmoniously ordered city of man, the substance of the world organism had deteriorated beyond salvage, and the universe is ripe for dissolution. The Vishnu Purana said the world in its last days reaches a stage where the property confers rank, wealth becomes the only source of virtue, wealth becomes the only source of virtue, passion, the soul bond of union between husband and wife, meaning the only place that passion is supposed to exist is between husband and wife in these last days. Falsehood, the source of success in life. Falsehood, the source of success in life. Sex, the only means of enjoyment. Oh my God. And when outer trappings are confused with inner religion. Y'all have not heard. Outer trappings are confused with inner religion. Asiatic arts of astronomic observation and calculation of calendars were motivated by an earnest desire to know the exact length of each yuga, to foresee the end. An age was supposed to begin when the sun, moon, and planets stood in conjunction at the initial point of y'all about to get mind blown right now. This book was written in 1983, baby. Okay? Listen. The age was supposed to begin when the sun, moon, and planets stood in conjunction at the initial point of the ecliptic, and to the end when they returned to the same point. By Hindu reckoning, the present yuga began in 3102 BC. The chronology of the Central American Mayan began in 3113 BC, only 11 years later. A discrepancy probably due to some minor miscalculation in reckoning backwards from the observed moments of the heavenly bodies. Ancient Mesopotamia set the same dates as India and Mexico, between 3113 and 3102 BC. for the beginning of civilized arts, especially astronomical calculation. The Babylonian sage Berosus said the world will burn when all the planets that now move in different courses come together in the crab, so that they will stand in a straight line in the same sign. The crab is Cancer, right? It says the world will burn. Now, in the Bible, this is evidence of one of the plagiarisms, by the way, of the Bible, because okay, let me keep going. But this, just know that. Why? Why is my shit paused? Trifling. Anyway, I'm sorry for those that are on YouTube. My IG live stream just paused for whatever reason. Anyway, so it says the Babylonian sage Berosus said that the world will burn when all the planets that now move in different courses come together in the crab, so that they all stand in a straight line in the same sign. And the future flood will take place when the same conjunction occurs in Capricorn. Okay. It is talking about the conjunction of planets in Capricorn. For the former, it is the constellation of the summer solstice, the Cancer. The latter, the winter solstice. They are the decisive signs of the zodiac because the turning points of the year lie in them. The great conjunction happened last year, not 2021, in 2020. The great conjunction happened in Capricorn in 2020 on the winter solstice. Just mentioned here, the great alignment for the first time in 2,500 years happened on December 21st, 2020. Okay. All right. These remarks shed light on the great Neolithic monuments known to be astronomical calculators, suggesting a good reason why they were built with so much care and effort. The Stoic philosophers of Doomsday drew upon a very ancient tradition in predicting the world's end in terms of almost identical with those of the Oriental sages. A new sea, listen, this is a quote, a new sea will overrun everything, and the ocean, today the boundary and girdle of the world, will occupy its center. What nature has made into separate parts will be confounded into a single mass. This creed of dissolution into chaos became an important part of Stoicism. Northern Europeans drew their myths of Doomsday or Ragnarok from the same ancient tradition. They said the world's end would be brought about by the Mut spell, or the mother's curse. Y'all ain't heard. Even the Northern Europeans, the Ragnarok, said that the world was going to end because of the mother's curse, when violent gods neglected the old laws of the matriarchy, of peace and blood kinship. Of peace and blood kinship. Right? The angry goddess would become Skadi, the destroyer, a great shadow devouring the world like her oriental counterpart Kali. The gods would enter into the shadow of Gadadamarang, literally meaning going into the shadow of the gods. They would be consumed, and the heavens and earths with them. The world would sink back into the womb of primal chaos, which gave it birth in the beginning. This was the prophecy of the Sibylline priestess who wrote the Volupsa. It was echoed by the Irish Sibyl Bobdide, one of the three fate goddesses. She foretold the coming of the wasteland, trees without fruit, seas without fish. Old men, come on, man. Trees without fruit and seas without fish. Old men would give false judgments and legislators make unjust laws. Warriors would betray one another, and men would be thieves, and there would be no more virtue left in the world. After the destruction of this non-virtuous world and its cruel gods, there would be a period of dark non-existence. Then the goddess's womb would bring forth a new universe. A new human race would arise from the primal couple, a woman named Life, and one of the Semitic names of Eve, and a man named Desirer of Life. Patriarchal Persians made some alterations in the picture. Their idea of doomsday was as dire as any. That was really what I wanted to. I didn't want to get into the whole, Antichrist thing and all of that. But baby, Kaala is on the move. Oya is on the move. Right? What's her name? Lilith is on the move. Right? Who else? Make is on the move. Who else? Who else? I forget the other one. But anyway, like I said, like I will reiterate, I remember when I was a Christian, and whenever, something would happen, something bad would happen, or you would go through something, the old people would say, you just need to get right with the Lord. The problem is you living in the flesh and you just need to get right with the Lord. Well, they were partly right, but they had it in reverse. You need to get right with God, but God is your mama. God is the Mother Earth. God is the very black ass entire goddamn universe, the black body from which all planets and all structures emerge. You need to get right with your mama, who is God. And I mean your mama as in the collective energy of the mother, you see. Hopefully that was helpful and could shed some light on these current situations when representatives, all these representatives of the systems in its many faces and many heads of empire get into conflict with one another. That has nothing to do with you. The only thing it has to do with you is that the propaganda is meant and created to tug at your heartstrings, to get you invested emotionally and otherwise, physically, energetically, into preserving the life of a wounded beast, baby. Imperialism is over. It's done had its day, baby. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. But it has come close many, many, many times. And what happens? We give our sons and daughters to war so that they become blood sacrifices on the altars of war gods. Oh, yes, we did that. We did that. Y'all didn't hear what I said. I said we give up our sons and daughters as blood offerings on the altars of war gods. We've done that. So when I said a couple of weeks ago, like Pluto ain't just here to judge America, baby. Because Pluto, the energy of Pluto, the energy of Oya, calls all of us to purge our shit, to dig up our shadow shit so it can be judged through in trial by fire. And that which cannot be used, that which will not serve the future, will become the ashes from which we are reborn. You see, right? But know this. Y'all have to get comfortable with the idea that America will never be the same again. And in these next 2 years in particular, and the next 22 years in particular, that the face of what we know as America may radically be transformed. And y'all have to be okay with that. Because anything is better than the shit that we've been suffering through. Anything is better than the madness that we have come to accept as the normal life of oppressed people in America. We have to be able to believe that what we can create will be better than what exists now. So do not stand in the way of America's judgment. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not stand in the way, because that's what they're asking you to do. When you get all emotionally involved and you're posting pictures and shit about, I stand with the Ukraine, that ain't got nothing to do with you. You take your colored ass melanin, your damn prayers and rituals of your ancestors. You go out in the world and you change somebody's life. You tell somebody that is scared or distressful or uncertain that the world is changing, baby. That's all you're witnessing. That's all you're witnessing. The world is changing in our favor. That is certain. You have no reason to fear, because your mother has returned to clean up this shit. That is what we're in. Honey, tell somebody to rejoice in the return of the mother. Shit. Anything is better than this shit we've been living in. It is not the genius of imperialism. It is not the genius of patriarchy that have given us our technological advances. No, it damn sure ain't. Now, no, it damn sure ain't. It is the capturing of the creative energy of the people of the world. It is the hog tying and the brutalization of people of color around the world, and their genius being funneled into a process that feeds them at our expense. We created the goddamn world. All of us. We created the world that we live in. We created every technological advance that we are experiencing. Every technological advance we give props to some white person because they own it. They own it because they exploited some person of color and extracted their genius, creative energy for their personal gain. So if we built the whole goddamn world and all the technological advances in it, then why don't you believe that you can change the future and it can be something better? Because now that you're free and all your genius is unleashed, you have to know that the world that we can create right now, today, and all spirit is asking of us, all the universe is asking of us, all the planets are asking of us, is to get your goddamn mind right. Steer clear of this bullshit that your low vibratory frequency as having bosses and emperors have been imposing on you. I don't want to get too deep because I was about to go deep on y'all. Listen, keep your mind clear of this bullshit. Now, one of you, if you are oppressed, if you poor, if you colored, if you indigenous from any of the 7 continents, this shit unfolding among slave owners, the United States ain't benevolent, never has been. There ain't no such thing as no good old days in the United States. Never. Right? Russia, yeah, okay, so everybody be like, the socialist revolutions of the 1950s and 60s, and the Soviet Union like gave money and training and weapons to the colonies and shit. But Russia right now today is one of the most racist countries on the planet. You always hear horror stories about Africans in Russia catching hell. Russia was the Soviet Union was a white nation in a contest with other white nations, and they saw the colonies as an opportunity to destabilize the opposition. They don't give a damn about people of color. Every last one of these motherfuckers need our energy, our creative energy, our blood, the potential that we hold in our flesh as God. They need to corral God to empower themselves, to enrich themselves. And right now, when they're being judged, they need to do that as resuscitation. Listen, black, brown, red, yellow people and poor white folks, they need our words to breathe life back into them. So where are you putting your energy? Where am I giving my energy today? In words, thoughts, and actions. Where am I giving my creative power? The entire creative power of the universe harnessed in my flesh and in this incarnation right now known as Cassandra. Where am I giving my power of Ashe to in this moment? You understand? Steer clear of this bullshit. We have a world to create. We have 2 years that Pluto has handed us on a silver platter. Listen, she said, look, all the planets are in line. They all hailing me. You understand? All the planets. The last 7 full moons have been in 27 degrees. Pluto just went exact at 27 degrees in Capricorn on Sunday. The last 7 full moons have been at 27 degrees. 27 breaks down numerologically to the number 9. That's her number. 9, the number of completion. This is it. This is the space. 9 is the space. It is the end and the beginning. 9 is the alpha and the omega. It is the end and the beginning. The simultaneous death to the old age as the new age is being born. The homework is easy for right now. Keep your mind clear of any madness being fed to you through this boob tube by your enemy. And I'm talking about all the bullshit. I ain't just talking about this shit with Ukraine. Stop watching this bullshit. Stop feeding your brain with madness. Just do it for a minute, man. Just do it for a minute. Just for 2 years, I ain't watching no bullshit. If it ain't high ass frequency music, I ain't listening to it. If it ain't high ass, and I ain't talking about, hippie shit neither. Okay? I'm not. I'm talking about, what are the words being spoken? What is the music communicating to my heart? You see. A good place to start is Earth, Wind, and Fire, because they saw the writing on the wall when nobody wasn't paying no attention and told you all the secrets in every album they ever wrote. So a good place to start on some high frequency, like let's get up into the know type shit, is Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's jamming, and at the same time, they're teaching you what I'm teaching you right now. And they was doing this shit in the 60s and 70s. That's a good place to start. You understand? The things that give us pleasure, because I'm always talking about ecstasy, but I want to be clear. When I am talking about worship that is defined by ecstasy, when I'm talking about take your ass and go dancing, you understand? When I am talking about, yes, Abasi, that is what I'm talking. What is the new Godhead we're creating? What is the new Godhead we're creating? Right? But when I'm talking about dancing, when I'm talking about camping, when I'm talking about pleasure, it has to be purposeful, because otherwise it's escapism, and there ain't no place for us to escape. There ain't no place for us to escape. That's why we stay sick, no matter how many fucking healing retreats we go on. That's why we stay sick, no matter how long we motherfucking meditate, because we treat everything as escapism. We ain't really trying to get in deep with the goddess. We are not. Because that shit is unfamiliar to us. This thing that we are experiencing in our heart, we are scared of it because we're conditioned to be fearful of change. We're conditioned to be fearful of what we do not know and cannot see beyond our 2 eyes. We are fearful of our own subconscious mind. And she is like, baby, later for that. Get in deep. Get in deep. Get in deep, right? And so, baby, I'm just trying to tell you, for the next 2 years, no matter what you hear, it's high frequency. Art, learn some new skill, do it for the bliss, but let these expressions be your prayer. Do not be frivolous in how you create. Be deliberate in how you create. I am. You see this darn chakra shrine on my wall back here? I posted this up as a prayer, as a ritual. It took me a month. I was very deliberate about the days that I would work on it. I was deliberate about the colors I would wear when working on it. The music was deliberate. The setting was deliberate. No matter how seemingly small the creative project is, Make it your prayer. That's what it means to live in bliss. That's what it means to live in ecstasy, is to be in communion with the Mother Earth, is to be in communion with one another, but present and deliberate. To go dancing to a club, I do that, baby. But everybody knows, and it happens every single time I go dancing. When I go to dance, that is how I pray. That's where epiphany comes from me. Always has. Though I didn't always understand it that way. I was just like, well, I would just love to dance. Right? But when I go dance, I am prayer, and I am deliberate about that. Make no mistakes about it. I am wide open and waiting for epiphany when I go dance. So be deliberate. Party with purpose. Party in prayer. Because later, I'm sorry, I'm not judging or telling anybody how to seek epiphany. But we done did the supplication shit for a long time. We done did that shit for a long time. About 4,000 years, we've been in supplication. Face down, prostrate, begging and pleading, some abstract spirit way to fuck off somewhere. I don't do that. I do not pray in supplication. I don't judge anybody who does, because I'm not saying where epiphany comes from for anybody else. But I know me, and I know I'm a scientist. I know that. I know if we've been doing this shit for 4,000 years and the shit don't look no better than it ever has been, might mean we need to try something different. Might mean we need to try something different. I do not pray in supplication. I still have my ornaments, my figures of spirit. I still have my ancestor altar. I still have my aleke, right? But they are emblematic. They are a way for me to communicate really to others about what I'm about. But I do not need them to find God. You understand? I do not need an ancestor shrine for my ancestors to hear me and to move on my behalf. Hell, I didn't even acknowledge my ancestors for many, many years, and they still came to bat. I was just giving some cracker Christ the props. It wasn't Jesus. It was my ancestors. Like, look, you fucking up right now. So we got you because we got something that we need you to do. And so you can't die today. I've done some dumb shit. And my ancestors were the ones who were like, let's cover the girl right now because she with that bullshit. You understand? But I was fucked up in the head giving Jesus, some mythological Jesus, the props for how my ancestors have consistently showed up in my life, even when I didn't have a consecrated ancestor shrine to work with. This is God. This is God. Spirit and flesh are not separate. Spirit isn't, this ain't no empty shell where spirit just kind of jumps in. Spirit exists in every single cell, every atom of who I am in this moment. Spirit and flesh are one as God in the material world. So, you understand? This is it. This is it. That's why the Revelations is so terrifying, because they saw the writing on the wall. Those in power, the Roman Empire, those in power is like, look, we only going to be able to rule for a little bit of time because according to the maps and the heavens and the stars and the planetary alignments and shit, there's going to be a period where this shit is going to be over. And it's going to be scary for us because we going to grow comfortable living off everybody else, feeding off everybody else, drinking the blood of everyone else. So yes, the Revelation is a horror story, but it's a horror story that is a predictor of the end of empire. And what is the Antichrist? The Antichrist is the antithesis of this empire that has existed. And what is that? It is feminine and it is dark. It is feminine and dark. That's what it is. That's what it is. And every narrative that we have accepted has gotten us caught up in rooting for the good guy. I'm rooting for the bad guy dressed up as the good guy. Every narrative, baby, every story, every television show. Listen, every Zion is synonymous with all things good. Babylon is synonymous with all things bad. I was just thinking about Bob Marley's song the other day, Chant Down Babylon, right? And I love that song. Will I hear the words of the Rasta man say, Babylon is gone, gone down, gone down. Babylon is gone, gone down. I still get goosebumps. I love that song. But I had this epiphany the other day. I was like, oh my God, we got it all wrong. Everything in reverse, baby. There is nothing innocent. I just read it to you. In the period where falsehoods are presented as truth, this is the age where Kaala will come and judge men. Here we are, man, in the Matrix. What is the city where the human outposts, the quote, the ones who woke? Oh my God. It's Zion, right? All these biblical symbologies in the Matrix that got you fucked up in the head. Here you rooting for the bad guys. Oh, y'all don't want to hear that. Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity are the bad guys. Yup, sure is. Y'all don't want to hear that though. Y'all do not want that this movie was conditioning you to accept that you, in order to be, quote, a revolutionary or to be, quote, woke, right? And the real world that you have to enter into is plagued by despair. The food ain't got no taste. You understand? You can't have no clean clothes. You being chased by sentinels. What do the sentinels look like? Look like Medusa to me. All the images of the mother in the Matrix is bad. The first scene where Neo takes the red or the blue pill. Where Neo takes the red or the blue pill and he wakes up in amniotic fluid. He wakes up in a black metal womb. I just read y'all last night in The Machine. This book was written in 1987. Some 13 motherfucking years before The Matrix was produced. Where she talks about the machine is the man's womb. The mechanization through slavery. The mechanization of the female reproductive body into machines that function only to produce labor or laborers for the machine. But y'all watch The Matrix, get so caught up in this bullshit ass idea of revolution, warfare being the thing that's going to change the world. Come on, that's not going to be it. Evolution is going to be the thing that changes the world. We cannot use the tactics and strategies of our enemy to liberate ourselves. It's not going to work. And you talking to somebody who used to be a hardcore revolutionary, we're going to have to kill every motherfucker. Like I was on that shit. We're going to have to run through these motherfuckers like the plague. That was my position. Nah, man. Later for that. The Matrix got you rooting for your enemy. And you don't even know it. You do not even know it. I didn't know it. This is an epiphany that came to me through ceremony, through prayer, through study. We were wrong. Here, The Matrix was written by a black woman, stolen by two white men, now women, right? Who are Jews. They ain't even Christians. They Jews. Giving us a Christian story about the Trinity who liberates man from the condemns of his mother. Because the matrix, baby, was a whole sea of black faceless wombs for whom the whole of humanity rested in. Every race, come on, every race was held captive in these black metal wombs. And that's what the word matrix means, by the way. It means mother's womb in Latin. Its translation is mother's womb. So the whole time you trying to, quote, escape the matrix, and the whole time spirit is telling you that's where the secret is. That's where the key is. That's where the medicine, for your isolation is back in the belly of your mother. You see. And this movie is saying, no, it ain't. It's with these, listen, it's with these, it's with this Trinity. It's with God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And a black woman ain't in the scenario at all. As a matter of fact, there ain't no black good guy in they clique, in their immediate clique. Now, all later on down the line, they want to throw Jada Pinkett in the mix. But in their immediate clique, everybody represented except the African woman. You understand? Oh, but y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all do not want to hear that Cypher, who we reduced to the bad guy because he sold out the clique. He turned on God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Because he said, fuck that. I want to go back to my mama. Put me back in the womb. Plug me back in. At least I can be happy there. At least I can be somebody important there. Oh, but y'all stayed rooting for the bad guys. And they knew you would. So I'm just saying, always watch between the lines, read between the lines, hear between the lines, because nothing being given to you is to benefit you. Not while this shit is intact. Nothing that is being presented to you, nothing that is being given to you is for your benefit. And if you do not know how to watch and listen and hear and read between what you are seeing, beyond what you are seeing or hearing with your surfaces, you will always come to the wrong conclusion about what the solution for yourself and for your people are. Always. So that's all I have to say about that. I might be back today, more than likely, because I'm just expecting that something amazing is going to happen today. I feel it in my body. Something big is going to happen today. And so I have to get prepared for that, whatever that is. But again, I want to leave with saying what I'm going to continue to say is, for the next 2 years in particular, in every moment, where is my next thought coming from? Who am I, or what am I giving my power, my God power to in this moment, in my words, my actions, or my thoughts? Who or what am I giving my power to, my God power to, in this moment, with my words, my thoughts, my deeds? What am I creating in this moment with my words, my thoughts, and my deeds? What am I manifesting in this moment with my thoughts, my actions, and my words? Am I, because the line is clear, baby, there is no gray area. Am I saving the masters of the world, or am I saving humanity with my thoughts, my actions, and my deeds, and my words? Am I in this moment creating the new world, or rescuing the old? Am I in this moment with my words, my thoughts, and my actions creating the new world, or rescuing the old? This is it. This is the meditation, baby. Be deliberate about your prayer. purposeful play, purposeful partying, purposeful dancing, purposeful creation, no matter how seemingly small. Every time you are taking an idea and creating something in the material world, it should be accompanied by a prayer, silent prayer. I love my mother. Thank God my mother said yes when she could have said no. I'm so thankful that my family is protected. Don't make requests. Speak with certainty. That's the prayer, not request, certainty. This is the prayer. I am protected. That's the meditation. That's what we call them, meditations and affirmations. That's a prayer. I am protected. I am divinely guided. I am always open to receive what spirit needs to impart on me, even if it makes me uncomfortable. I am grateful in every moment for the abundance that Mother Earth continues to provide. I am grateful to be alive in this momentous, epic, unbelievable time in human history. I am certain of the victory of good over evil. I am certain of the victory of good over evil. Right? I am thankful that we are entering into an age of happiness and bliss and ecstasy unseen in 25,000 years. Speak it into existence. I am grateful for it because I know it is certain. That's the prayer. No begging. You are God. And the only evidence that you believe that is that you produce powerful prayers of certainty. That's it. Either you believe this shit or you don't. That's it. Either you believe we gonna win or you don't. That's all. Either you believe that we are the creators of our own universe or you don't. Either you believe that the I and the we are the same because we are one, because we are God and in her body and of her body, or you don't. That is all. There are no gray areas. It's position taking time right now. God damn it. That's it. So, I'm Cassandra, whose name means she who shines light on mankind. Right? Thank God my mother said yes to my life. Thank God, known as Jacqueline Jeanette Futch, for saying yes to my existence. For choosing to allow me to come through her. For honoring, even now as I'm grown, I can always call my mama and she's going to show up for me, even as I'm grown. For honoring a blood contract that she made with me before she even knew me or saw my face. This is a good place to start, baby. Or at least that's what Kaala say. If you are to be spared this judgment, and I say this is about men, but it's about all of us because we all have swallowed the toxic pill of patriarchy. Every last one of us. Some of the greatest misogynists I ever met in my whole existence have vaginas. That's why I say for all of us, a good place to start in the transformation of the planet is worshiping our mothers. I just paid my mama tithes yesterday. I ain't lying. It hit me last week. I do this thing every year where instead of expecting my mama to give me something on my birthday, I told her not to. Every year on my mother's birthday, on my birthday, because I'm the oldest. Every year on my birthday, I give my mother a birthday present. I give my mother a Mother's Day present. On the day that I was born, on the day that my mom officially became a mother, I give her a Mother's Day present, celebrating the day she became a mother, thanking her for saying yes to my goddamn life. But the other week, I was like, well, damn, we give all this money to the church. We don't have no problem paying tithes to the church. I was like, you know what? Do I really believe my mama is God? Yes, I do. Let me send my mama tithes. I made some money this week, and the first thing I did was pay my mama. I gave her 10%. She was like, my baby, what's this money for? I was like, it's just a gift. She don't have to know what it's for. This is the energetic transformation that we're talking about creating in the world. What is the evidence that you believe what you say? What is the changed behavior in the real world that is evidentiary that you are serious about ushering in the new world? I said, let me pay my mama tithes. I spent enough years when I was young in the Christian church giving somebody else 10% of the income that is made from my getting up and working and putting all of my energy. I said, let me do that for my mama. Let me do that. That's what it means. I fast every year on Thanksgiving. This is my display of genuine solidarity in the real world with the indigenous people of North America. We have to create the new world. And the only thing that's evidentiary of that is the actions that we take. Create the new traditions, create the new culture, create the new society in real time. I've been fasting every year on Thanksgiving since 2008. That ain't no great giant, I welcome it. I'm thankful that I was put on to such a novel idea. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I do. I don't celebrate Mother's Day on Mother's Day. I celebrate Mother's Day on the day my mama became a mother. And guess what? It means so much more. Instead of the obligatory displays of affection that we're all conditioned and told we have to do on very specific days of the year. Right? So now I'm really going to stop. I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much. Check out the description underneath the video for information if you're interested in receiving any of the workshops that I did over the last 7 weeks about this Pluto returns and what it means and what to watch out for over the next 2 years, because it's going to take Pluto 2 years to transition from Capricorn to Aquarius. And then it will be in Aquarius until 2044. So another 20 years of world-defining, history-defining events that we have a part in playing and allowing to unfold. So if you're interested in those workshops, check out the description below. You can email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. That's releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. And I can give you the information about how to purchase those workshops. And just, keep tuning into the YouTube lives. Like I said, this shit is big. Spirit is on the move in a big, giant way. And so I want to keep y'all, I want to help keep your mind clear. This bullshit is what I really want to do. I want to help keep your mind straight. I want to help keep you upbeat. I don't know what the laws are. They probably ain't gonna let me play no music or whatever, but still, like that would be my homework assignment for today, is go download something by Earth, Wind, and Fire on this day. All right. Thank you so much. Cassandra Faye Floyd, also known as Iapo Moyende Ngina, also known as the Rogue Black Girl. I'll see you again probably tonight or maybe tomorrow.